Here are the actual 3 things that men care about most. The holy trinity of what actually makes a perfect 10. First of all, hot. This means not overweight.
Right.
2, young, or in other words, under 30. And 3, undamaged. This means not promiscuous.
Yep.
And also no kids.
Yep.
This is what men actually want.
Yep. Men do not care where you go to school, where you work, how much money you make. On the aggregate, we don't care what your occupation is, and your occupation doesn't make you hot. Women love to chase after doctors and lawyers and millionaires and rich people. That doesn't make that doesn't apply to men.
Right.
Like, that doesn't make you hotter. It doesn't do anything. Yo, what's poppin', y'all? I'm Ace.
Hi, and I'm Star. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
I bet. Let's get into it. Alright, so in this one, we got 8 reasons why women think that they're 10s from wheat waffles. So, we'll see what they're talking about.
Waffles.
I'd rather a 10.
Yeah.
And you don't understand. Well, I'm a 10. I go to school, I go to work, and I have a great personality, and I'm...
Ooh. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
Think versus actual.
Guys, I'm going to be honest with you.
Ugh.
Nowadays, it seems that all women, regardless of their own attractiveness,
Lord in heaven, bro. Oh, no.
Violation.
Yo, why he circling with the...
It's like, delusion.
Yo, we can't. And she, hold on.
Disrespect.
We just gotta get this one out the way immediately. Shorty said, I go to school, I go to work, that makes me a 10. No, it doesn't. Nobody cares. Men do not care where you go to school, where you work, how much money you make. On the aggregate, we don't care what your occupation is, and your occupation doesn't make you hot. Women love to chase after doctors and lawyers and millionaires and rich people. That doesn't make that doesn't apply to men.
Right.
Like, that doesn't make you hotter. It doesn't do anything.
It doesn't drive men to desire you more. That's
Right.
a woman trait. We seek protection, security, and all that. Men don't. They got that already.
Right. They can protect themselves.
Right.
They don't need
and
that.
they make what is it, $1 or $2? Like,
You would make more money also. I mean,
They make more than us.
They don't need
so
that. So it's just like
it's not something that they're after. So it's just like when women say, "I do this, I do that." Cool. Awesome.
And at the same
cool,
time, you ask these women about who should pay all the bills, they always say the man. Right?
Always.
Even if they have money, they still say the man. So it's just like, why do you think that a man thinks it's sexy for you to have money that you're never going to give to him? Right? His money is our money, and my money is my money. That's how women think.
Yeah.
I've heard them say exactly that. So if that's how you feel, then if that's the reality you live in, if we go by your metric, why would we care?
Right.
We wouldn't, because you're not gonna give me none. Oprah, you're not gonna give me no money, bro.
Damn,
So,
trying giving him those steps.
right, Stepping not getting no money. Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you're not giving me the money, do I really care that you're rich? No. You still gonna look at me like, why you ain't paying bills in this? Come on, son.
is walking around thinking they're a perfect 10 out of 10. All forms of modesty and simple common sense have gone straight out the window, and it seems all women are walking around with a chip on their shoulder thinking they're God's gift to mankind.
Right.
Well guys, in this video I'm going to be outlining the 8 reasons, yeah you heard that right, 8 reasons, for why the rate of attractiveness inflation is going through the roof, or in simple words, why every woman now thinks in 2021 she's a perfect 10. Number 1, and this should be by far the biggest reason, simping.
Yep.
Now, the thing with
Absolutely.
simping is that a lot of people mistake for it only going in one direction. They think it only goes from the bottom up. It's the low value men at the bottom who are bombarding the women at the top with endless amounts of free attention,
Money.
validation, and God forbid, money
God
by
forbid.
paying for things like OnlyFans.
God
But
forbid.
in reality,
Yeah.
all women across the board of attractiveness have an endless selection of simps to provide these things. Because what ends up happening is the simps start by throwing attention, money and validation at the most attractive women, But when they don't get anything in return, they have no choice but to move down to the next level, and then the next level, and the next and the next. So it's just this endless cycle of simps undercutting other simps. And whoever undercuts and simps the most supposedly wins in the end. Yeah, that last bit's important. Supposedly.
Right.
Because what happens next is all the low value women at the bottom who now have a fresh crate of simps to choose from have this backwards rationalisation. Well, this is interesting. I'm getting all of this validation. Therefore, this must...
Yo, please. Yo.
I'm all for women empowerment and everything like that, but look.
Oh my God, yo. The examples that he's giving without calling them examples is the most hilarious thing ever. He just like do the cursor thing or just put the face on page and just talk about the topic and he don't say nothing.
I'm sure she has great qualities. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my gosh.
But she a little sore for the sore eyes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
must mean I am special. Therefore, I must also be highly attractive.
There's the mistake.
So the final piece of the puzzle, and also why simping never works, is all of the women at the bottom who have been senselessly simped over have now had their egos inflated beyond return. And all that's been left is the guys at the bottom have now lost a ridiculous amount of their own time, energy and resources, and all for nothing.
Yep.
Now, the last point I'm going to make on this before I move on to the next reason is this is exactly why I have zero sympathy for simps. Because the only impact that simps have on the dating market is inflating women's egos, which in turn messes up the system and spoils it for anyone else who actually had a chance.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That is true.
And that's the reason why you end up seeing the people who you think that's why a lot of times women are always shooting for dudes that are out of their league.
That's true.
Right, and that's why a lot of them are thinking that, you know, there's no good men out here, this, that, and the other. No, it's because you've shrunk your dating pool down to the top 10% of dudes, and you've shrunk it down regardless of whether you're a 10 or you're a 5, because all walks of men have been telling you whatever you want to hear so they can get with you.
Yep.
And because they can't get any themselves, and so therefore, like my man here says, you got every woman thinking she's a 10, and therefore every woman demanding 10 results. And of course, mathematically, that is impossible, because if they all demand 10 results, we're going to run out of men. There aren't enough 10 men, and what defines men as being 10 is not only what you look like, but how much money you make and stuff like that, and what your job is.
Success.
Your success. And so, in a capitalist society, that makes it even worse, right? Because it's hard to be rich. So it's just like, if that's the case, it's like, that's why it's like you have 90% of the women trying to get with 10% of the men, and then wondering why there are no men. It's right. It's not that there aren't any. It's that you might be shooting into an echelon that you shouldn't be in. Aim lower, and you'll find plenty of people who want to be with you.
Yeah.
But if you tell them that, it's like treated as misogyny, like disrespect, and it's like, no, we got to keep it a stack.
Yep.
The same way we keep it a stack with men who are fat or they don't make a lot of money. They try going after supermodels. Everybody and their mother will be quick to tell them about all the reasons about why that's impossible and could never happen, and why they should have more reasonable expectations.
Right.
anyway, now moving on to point number 2 for why women overestimate their worth.
That's true.
Oh,
Women
we Waffles
equating
banging.
their hookup options to their actual value.
Boy, I could do this one for you. I could do this one for you. Just because a man wants to sleep with you does not mean he likes you. Does not mean he will date you. Does not mean he sees wife potential or girlfriend potential in you in any way. 0%. From women, generally speaking, if they sleep with a guy, unless you are Super Saiyan 3 or 4, unless you really, if you sleep with a guy, generally speaking, you in somewhere in your brain see that maybe y'all could date somehow. Like, it's not just I like that, I'm gonna do that. You see somewhere in there is the thought that maybe y'all could be together, or rather you see him worthy as being with you, whether or not you actually do it.
Right.
Right? They don't just do it with people who they don't think are who they think are unworthy. Men don't care. Worthy, not worthy, we in there, we out of there. Right? Pack it up. Check the box, check this other box, close the book, close the door, I'm out. Right? That's how we do. And so it's just like, for a man, he'll give the hookup attention to 2 women. But yet only one of them will get the girlfriend attention. And a lot of women are unable to differentiate those signals. And to be fair, men don't really make it that easy. And the reason why men don't make it that easy is because we constantly have to, well, not have to, but I guess we are trying to, men are trying to get them, you know what I mean? And sometimes women don't respond well if men tell them the full truth, that all they want is the thang and nothing else.
Well, to be honest and be truthful, both hooking up and showing interest comes off the same way.
Right.
So in order for men to get the pipe, they have to
Pause. Yeah.
in order to obtain the pipe.
Again, pause.
Stop it. Get some help.
Dude's not obtaining no rods.
Right. You know what I mean. In order to get the punani.
We are delivery men here.
Delivering the pipeline. They have to sway the woman in a matter of sweet nothing.
They gotta prove their worth.
They gotta talk to her.
Yeah, they gotta make themselves
sway
look worthy.
So that, in a sense, is kind of girlfriend like, behave like, treating them as something special. So that is the off GP. You're treating them as something special. So therefore, it's just like,
it's
okay,
confusing.
He's treating me like I'm something special, so therefore he must think I'm something special, so he might see me as a potential girlfriend then.
Wrong.
But,
But
it's not the same.
Right.
It's not the same dynamic for men as it is for women.
And that's why a lot of women, they think they got a DM full of 1,000 men. It's like, 1,000 men want to date me. Nah, like 10 of them want to date you. Like the other 909 just want to beat and go home. Like, so if it's people who just want to run through you, sure, you won the game. But if it's a boyfriend you're looking for, a husband you're looking for, you losing. You just don't know it.
Now, because of the nature of the current dating market, just about every average woman, and in fact even some below average women, have access to regular intimacy and hookups from the guys at the top. Chad is shared between everyone.
Yeah.
Now, what this means is the women in the middle end up thinking this: well, I can hook up easily with Chad. However, Chad doesn't want to commit. Therefore, all I need to do is just find one that will commit.
Right.
Nope.
So back to the dating market, all the average women end up wasting time chasing and trying to pin down the Chads, and they string along and friend zone all of the guys they're actually on the same level with.
The
ones who would have
given
given an equal relationship.
Yeah.
And the Chads will never commit to them, but yet they're still seeking them to commit to them. That's why they're just like, they get with one football player, whatever, and millionaire, let him beat or whatever, but he doesn't want to date them. They think, it's okay, I got one, I can get another one, and then he'll be the one to do it. It's like, no, you're just on a rotating train, and you just don't realize that. And they're constantly friend zoning, as he said, the dudes that are on their level.
I just don't understand why women are so concerned about the success of men rather than happiness. That is the goal. Happiness. If they treat you right, doesn't matter whether or not how they look, what they do, or anything like that. As long as you are happy in the relationship, that is like number one goal. Like, what?
They happy with money.
Yeah, and then when you get that, and then the man isn't the one that you want because he's an asshole or this, or he's chauvinistic, he's an asshole, he's whatever. Oh, you back on the streets, honey. Oh, what's the matter? Chad didn't do it for you? I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Why? I thought he had everything you need. He had money. He had success. He had everything. But you're unhappy. Look at you, back on the streets. Like, what?
Yeah,
that's my whole point. Like,
to let
be
Brittany
happy.
Renner tell it, she happy with the money. She don't care. She roll around in the streets.
But instead, the
can't
women's
bring you
attention is
happiness
all
in that
focused on the
sense.
top 10 to 15% of guys who they are able to hook up with, but not willing to give their commitment. Women, just because you can hook up with someone doesn't mean you're on their level, and certainly doesn't mean you can get commitment from them either. Moving on to point number 3, acceptance of unattractiveness. And this does not apply to men. It's
Right.
almost exclusively for women. And this is mostly the result of feminism. Now, this idea in the last 10 years has pretty much stepped in and said all women, irrespective of their own attractiveness, are all deserving of a perfect 10. This belief system has tried to force down society's throat that all women, of all shapes and sizes, are all attractive in their own unique way. It is seen as grossly inappropriate to highlight the flaws in a woman's beauty, even if said flaws pose a huge risk to their physical health and can greatly reduce their life expectancy.
Yep.
Therefore, they are instead celebrated. And I've talked about this in my previous videos. I'll say again, try typing the words plus size into Google. There will not be one man in...
That's okay. When the world goes to shit, we all know who's dying first. I can run. I ain't got no health ailments. I'm sorry.
He's like, I can run, can you?
When the world go to shit and there's zombies all over the place, I can run.
Yo, let me say,
I'm healthy. I'm fit.
certain people would be the
Sorry.
first one to turn their ankle when we running from the zombies. Well, you get left behind, and I think they may have plenty to eat.
Emotional damage.
Modern days, we just gotten lazy and just don't care.
Right.
You should honestly take care of yourself and well-being, and it's attractive.
Right.
sight. In fact, I could bet money that you'd be scrolling for longer than the length of this video in order to just find one single man. Moving on to point number 4. The media promoting delusion.
That's true.
About 5 years ago, there was this film that came out called
mercy.
50 Shades of Grey. And in fact, the book that it was based on was one of the highest grossing of the decade.
Don't know why.
And if you've not heard of this
Doesn't know
film
why,
or
bro.
the book before, it's basically about this billionaire Chad who goes for and ends up in a relationship with some fairly average woman.
Working
A similar
class,
storyline happens in other movies and TV shows, such as the highly acclaimed Sex and the City.
Right.
This series, too, showed women, despite being in their 30s and 40s, still being able to pin down and get commitment from Chads. So the point I'm trying to make here is that the media is portraying the idea that any woman, irrespective of what she brings to the table, can get a relationship from a Chad,
Which is lies.
no matter how old or average. On to point number 5, ego. Now, I didn't know just how big of a reason this was until I came across this scientific study titled Resisting Connection Following Social Exclusion. Now, this study attempted to see how a woman would react when first being approached by an attractive man, and then afterwards being approached by a less attractive man. The results were as followed. When the attractive man accepted the woman was also very likely to accept the less attractive man. In fact, he was accepted an average of 80%. Now, this isn't surprising, because after she gets accepted by the attractive man, she's probably feeling quite good about herself, and she's got nothing to lose by accepting the less attractive man, so she also gives him a pass. However, for the second part of the study, when the woman gets first rejected by the attractive man, they found she was then much less likely to accept the less attractive man's advances. In fact, his acceptance rate dropped from 80% to a staggering 24%.
Oh my gosh!
That
Wow! Wow!
This is an interesting study.
Wow!
That's sad though.
I mean, it's basically all ego based. It's like
Yeah.
if they believe that they can get the Chads and the Tens and the millionaires, then they feel like they have power over everyone, so they're fine to accept whatever.
Yeah.
But if they can't get the one they want, then someone else who really should be on their level, from the picture that we can see here, right? It's like it should be on their level, but someone who should be on their level, but they feel as if their own level has been reduced to the level of that man because now it's like, oh, this is all I can get.
I see. Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Even though that should be all you can get,
Yeah.
right?
That's true.
But like Buddy said, the egos of the 3s and 4s have been inflated to 8s and 9s, and so they think that they should be getting that. So when they get things that are on their actual level based on reality, they become confused and think that they're being lowballed.
Interesting.
You feel me? That's delusion at its finest,
Yeah.
right? And that's why they identify, oh, ain't there no good men out here? No, there are plenty.
I like learning about why people do the things that we do. I mean, a lot of it's a learned behavior, definitely.
All of this is learned behavior.
Yeah, like this is what
All of this is social conditioning.
It's right, because it's the men who are attracted to the women and how they go about doing things, so that conditions the woman's thoughts and everything else. But if you, as a woman, if you don't have like, you know, an actual brain and to think about things,
then you end up doing stupid shit like this.
yeah. So I don't know. I just find it interesting. I like it.
That's nearly a 4 times drop. And the reason for this is because after the first rejection, she probably felt violated and had taken a huge blow to her self-esteem.
Yeah.
So to recover and attempt to regain some of her self-worth, she lashes
denies
out
him.
on the less attractive guy by rejecting him. Now, I found this study very interesting because it shares such close parallels to the current dynamics of the dating market. Because think about online dating, and for those who don't know how the Tinder algorithm works, the most popular profiles are shown first. So these are shown at the top of the card stack, and are the first profiles a woman will see after logging on. Meanwhile, the less attractive profiles are shown last. Therefore, if an average or below average woman gets mostly negative responses from the popular profiles, the attractive ones, then the study shows the woman getting butthurt from this will result in her lashing out on the lower ranked profiles.
Right.
And she will do this in order to rebuild some of her self-respect.
I see.
Point number 6, a woman and her blue-pilled friends inflating her ego.
Oh, yes.
Now, the 2 screenshots
I
show
knew
them-
it. I knew it. But as soon as he said the friends, I knew he was going to pull up some social media with goofy comments at the bottom.
Yep.
I knew it. Comments that are just... We've all seen them. Comments that are just not based in reality. They just say all type of crazy compliments be underneath the picture. And you're just like... You got to get your magnifying glass out to see where they found all these good qualities at.
on either side of the screen are typical of the comments a woman will expect to see on her Instagram profile. So of course we have a couple simps giving her free validation, and I have checked their profiles and they are actually guys. But what's arguably more concerning is her and all of her female friends blowing smoke up one another. In my experience, I see these types of comments vastly outnumbering the ones sent from simps. Here's where you'll see the comments like, "My queen, you're gorgeous, stunner, you go girl." And the dumbest part about all of this isn't the comments themselves. Rather, it's the people that are sending and receiving them. Women will believe anything their friends tell them these days. So if 20 of a girl's female friends are sending these copy and paste comments on every post she uploads, even if the girl herself is average to below average in looks, she's still going to walk away patting herself on the back, thinking she's a lot more attractive than she actually is. Thinking she's a perfect 10. Point number 7. Entitlement.
Oh, Lord.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, I was watching a Darius M video, who's actually one of my favourite channels. And I remember him saying there are a lot more overweight women than men. And after that video, I looked it up, and it's true. This is data from the NHS website in the UK.
That's because
Okay.
reality hits
it,
men.
I mean, that's the UK. I guarantee it that this is even worse in the United States.
Oh, you think so? Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, you're right.
For 100% sure that the obesity epidemic is worse in the United States than
yeah.
anywhere else.
You're right.
So if more women are fat in the UK, it's got to be worse here.
Yeah,
It's got to
you're
be
right.
worse here
You're
for
right.
sure. Because we got more fat, both people. It's got to be worse. Look at the disparity. Yikes. Okay.
20,
My country. And for 16 to 24 year olds, there are 2 times more obese women than men. 20% versus 10%. And it's a similar pattern for the 25 to 34 year old age range. And I remember Darius saying the main reason for this is because women don't get in shape because they have no need to. The truth is, men know that if they're obese, no woman is going to want to be with them.
Reality
But
hits.
most women know, especially those who are overweight, that men will still be attracted to them even if they are packing extra pounds. And they will be able to tell you that from experience. Now, if this reason is true, then it shows they have a sense of entitlement. It shows they're entitled to somebody more attractive than they are, despite bringing far less to the table and putting in little to no effort. And in fact, I've even seen this in my own personal experiences. I've literally heard overweight women say that they will never date an overweight man.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Right.
That is entitlement at its simplest form. Finally, moving on to point number 8.
I honestly think that's crazy. How overweight women or obese women literally do not find obese men or overweight men attractive, but yet can sit here and say, "Oh well, I'm not gonna change. They're gonna love me anyways."
And if a man is in shape and doesn't want a woman who is not in shape, they'll say, "Oh, you're fat shaming them. Your body shaming them just by saying that like you about to have a coronary at 50." Like that's facts, fam.
It's delusion, as he says, like
Delusion.
at its finest.
Right,
It's
and
crazy.
it's media funded delusion. That's the
Yeah.
problem. Is that the internet and society and Instagram and everything just perpetuates the same nonsense over and over and over again until these people believe it. Until these born after 2002 kids will get on the internet and argue and tell you this is how it must be. And it's like, what are you saying?
That's the crazy part.
Coping. What I've noticed is nearly every woman, if you ask them the top 3 things that make them attractive, it will almost undoubtedly be a completely different list from another woman's. Just like the woman from the clip at the beginning. Her 3 reasons for why she is a perfect 10 was because she goes to school, goes to work, and has a good personality.
So basically, you're a normal human being.
Congratulations.
You go to school, you go to work. Isn't that like the whole population?
Hi, hello.
The only people not working are like homeless people, children, and like stay-at-home wives. And they working in the house, so that's work too. Went to school. Everybody went to high school.
Right.
A lot of people got associate's degrees and bachelor's degrees. Like, that's cool. And you have a good personality. That's debatable,
Yeah.
right? That's and subjective.
Yeah.
So
That is true.
And the fact that you think you have a good personality makes me not think you got a good personality. Like, just because you think that don't mean nothing. You don't gotta like you. You don't gotta date you. It's other people we're talking about.
That is true.
But based on how pretentious she was being,
Right.
I very much doubt there's much truth to this.
That's what I'm
reason.
saying.
This woman, if she believes that these 3 things alone make her a perfect 10, is almost certainly coping.
I'm really mad he really put them all big on the screen like we didn't know school, work, and personality. None of them things is real. This is a vague objection. Vague.
Because here are the actual 3 things that men care about most. The holy trinity of what actually makes a
Holy
perfect
Trinity.
10. First of all, hot. This means not overweight.
Right.
2, young, or in other words, under 30. And 3, undamaged. This means not promiscuous.
Yep.
And also no kids.
Yep.
This is what men actually want.
Yep.
And the funny thing is, what I've noticed is when women are young, when they list reasons of what makes them attractive, they're likely to say things such as, I'm pretty, fit, young, therefore this makes me an 8. Meanwhile, when you ask older women, or even worse, the exact same women but just 10 to 15 years older,
Career.
they're likely to give you a different list of the things that make them attractive. Such as, I have a career, I have
Right.
2 gorgeous kids,
Yeah.
Nope.
and am financially stable.
And we don't care about none of that. We slipping back to the first shorty, pretty, fit, and young.
Therefore, I'm also an 8.
No.
This is
No.
also coping.
Yes.
Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, these days, nearly every woman has their own list of cope reasons for why they're more attractive than everyone else. And they will change it where they see fit and based on their own strengths. But the truth is, men see very little value outside of the holy trinity of female attractiveness. All lists that deviate from these 3 things are coping.
Yes,
Anyway,
sir.
guys, that's it for my 8 reasons.
Yes, sir. Absolute facts. Wheat waffles out here spanking. Let me tell you, that's an absolute fact. You don't deviate from the Holy Trinity. All right, that's it. That's all that women need to know.
But-
Look at it and look at the chart again and again.
Can I ask you this though? For men, in the sense that are dating younger women, some younger women tend to be a handful because they want a lot of things. They want this, they want that. So men have to buy things. So older women will say, "Oh, I have a career and money, so therefore you don't have to take care of me," because some young women are a little bit demanding when it comes to, "Oh, I want this, oh, I want that, I want to be spoiled." And if they're dating someone within their age range and they don't have that success yet, because men, as time goes on, they'll go for another guy. So younger women, yeah, they may be hot, they may be fit, they may be young, no kids, but sometimes when men date younger women, it seems like one of the complaints is that, oh, she's a handful, she's annoying,
well, guess
she's
what?
this,
well,
she's that.
Well, I'll tell you this, is that when you're over 30 years old, everything a 20-year-old says sounds stupid.
Yeah.
They sound dumb when they talk. You know what I mean? Like, you're just like, I mean, what you said is kind of right, but also you sound like you have been only alive for 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, that's how older people see younger people. That's just how it is, period. So it's just like, that in itself is annoying. And it's like, sometimes like, yap, 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 yap. You know what I mean? And just like, hey, calm down. People who have been alive for just a little bit longer, they're over 30 days, sometimes are a little bit more relaxed than they were when they were in their 20s. Less like, ha, ha. You know what I mean? They're more just like, all right, calm down. It'll get done, right? Because they know time will continue to pass. Right? But men would rather accept that problem, which is just a problem of immaturity. You can ignore an immature person, especially if you're the one with the power in the relationship. You just be like, shut up, or just like turn away and leave.
That's true.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I'll drive my McLaren. Goodbye. You know what I mean? Like, type stuff. But they'd rather take that problem on than having to potentially take on the other problems which would come if she was older. As
promiscuity.
Promiscuity. You've had 10 more years to rack up bodies. That's bad. Then there's just like general bitterness for having been alive and not having gotten what you want from men. Like, generally I see that a lot of older women, if they haven't gotten the success that they wanted in relationships, you know, they're like 32 or 33. Sometimes you see them on Kevin Samuels, right? They be bitter as hell. Bitter, bro. Angry. Like, oh, I have not gotten what I deserve from the world.
That is true.
You know what I mean? And men are not going to deal with that on top of you being less hot and less fertile and less whatever.
That is true.
Deal with all that just for what? To not have to deal with a child with someone who's childish, or someone who's 20 is like a whiny brat. It's like, for them, it's like, you can't get everything you want. You know what I mean?
But I feel like now the older generation is rubbing off onto the younger generation, in the sense that the younger generation is more demanding. So that's another thing. Like,
I can't help you with Generation Z, bro. I don't know what y'all doing.
But like, in the sense that, if they feel entitled, if they have a man who has a lot of success, that they can take that success if he does wrong to them. So that's another issue on top of that that has come with the new generation. So it's another annoyance for men, and it's just like the dating. I just feel bad for men. Like, I just feel bad.
It's
for
rough
men.
out here, boy.
It's like a give and take situation, and
it's just take.
For women, it's just
take.
But it's just like women need to do better in understanding the dating.
Understanding men in general.
Yeah, like I
just put yourself in a man's shoes. Like, that's it. Like, don't behave in a way that you wouldn't like if he did that to you. Really think about it.
Right. Honestly, like, they need to listen more. Like, all these platforms that are for men to talk about, how they are,
listen
who they
instead
are.
of lashing out at them.
Yes, listen.
And anyway, that's it for this one. We'll holler at you.
Bye.